alternating between the two devices.
Okay.
So hopefully we won't have any more confusion in this frame.
Luca Brecel to break.
And there was certainly no confusion about the way Brecel took his chance to come from behind and win the first against the defending champion. It was an easy pot, really, but at such a wide angle, he was always going to have limited control over the cue ball. Opting against the roll-up, going on the attack.
4.
And I think Higgins is just going to want to get into the balls here and start getting some breaks going, because he never got into any rhythm against McGill last week in Clondudno. Massive few weeks ahead. Next week the China Open, which is now the second most lucrative event on the circuit. And of course, also the last event before the biggest of them all, the World Championship. Less than a month to go now before it all starts at the Crucible.
12. Well,
he didn't intend to leave himself this low on the black, but he does have a good angle now to develop some reds off it, so it could work out to his advantage. Only, of course, if he cuts in the black.
John Higgins 13. One.
And what a chance this is now for Brecel. And if Higgins has come here in need of getting some results and some rhythm going, Brecel even more so, because he's really been struggling for some months now.
7.
Such a good start to the season. In only the second event, he won the China Championship, becoming the first player from Belgium ever to win a world ranking tournament. That got him into the top 16. The next event in China was the World Open, and he got to the semi-finals of that.
14.
But his last really good run was in another Chinese event, the Shanghai Masters,
15.
in November. Got to the quarterfinals, but been having all sorts of cue problems since then. I think he's had some injury problems too. Hasn't been any further than the last 32
22.
of any ranking event since November. He was, of course, in the last 16 of the Players' Championship last week, but there were only 16 in the field, so he didn't actually win any matches there. It's a nice recovery shot on the blue.
29.
Looked straightforward, but Could easily have gone wrong. Oh, and he's played that very nicely. So a real chance now to win this frame in a single scoring visit and find himself in a somewhat unexpected 2-0 lead.
$36.
Brecel looking to emulate Zhu Yu Long, who in his first ever Championship League group
43.
back in January ended up winning the group. We'll be seeing him in the winners group later in the week.
$44. $51. $52.
Brecel actually got off to a good start in the only match he played in the Players' Championship last week. 2-1 up against Neil Robertson, but didn't really get a look in after that. Potted the opening red in frame 4. Didn't pot another ball for the rest of the match. Robertson won 5 in a row, a succession of big breaks.
55.
Still needs one more red. Oh, and this looks like a really good positional shot.
62. $63.
So off and running quite quickly. Came from behind to win the first.
68.
Got a good early chance when Higgins missed that cut black on 13, and he's taken it very well. That shouldn't make any difference.
68, John Higgins, 4, frame conceded.
That break of 68 enough for Luca Brecel to win the frame in one go, and he's already just one frame away from notching up his first ever win in the Championship League. He leads John Higgins by 2 frames to 0. So Higgins a frame away from his second whitewash in as many matches. John Higgins had a couple of close scrapes on his way to the title in last year's winners group. Came in just for the one group, Group 7, won it, and then edged out Anthony McGill in a decider to just scrape into the semi-finals of the winners group. Then came through another decider against Judd Trump in the semi-final and enjoyed a 3-0 win then against Ryan Day in the final. But that's the second time in this match he's played a shot like that, trying to cut a red thin into the corner. Just caught it too thin. Both into that pocket.
One.
Looking at the way the reds are and considering the way Brecel took his opportunity in the last frame, might be a bit early to say it, but could that just be Higgins' last shot in this match?
9. $16. 17.
He's been marked out from a very early age as a massive prospect.
24.
Youngest player to play at the
25.
Crucible, but that's 6 years ago now. Reached his first ranking semi-final as a teenager at the Welsh Open a couple of years ago.
32. $33.
Big strides forward this season. Now a ranking event winner into the top 16. And you have to think it won't be too long before we see him back in the sort of form he was in earlier in the season.
41.
Remarkable to think that Higgins was already a ranking event winner before Brecel was even born.
48.
Well, that's a poor shot positionally. Sometimes it can just start to come a little too easily and you can lose a little bit of focus. He did seem to be a bit too casual. It is his style, but perhaps it cost him there. Wasn't quite fully focused on what he needed to do. Has he fluked this one? He has.
49.
Higgins was up out of his chair. You have to think now, every chance that the next time he gets out of it might just be to shake Luca Brecel's hand.
56.
Because very hard to see why the Belgian wouldn't close out frame and match here.
57.
It was a fairly outrageous pot that he took on. Nowhere near getting it, really. But still managed to stay at the table.
64. 65.
And now we have to mention this is the 9th black coming up. And getting that fluke earlier. Brecel did knock the yellow
72.
quite safe. The blue also a bit awkward, but less so. So it's a chance.
Okay. 73. $80.
Frame and match certainly in the bag now.
81.
Well, I don't think he can pot either of those reds or even get through to them. To left middle. But he's doubled that one.
89.
Thought he might try to cut that one in, but preferred the double. And he's still on track. Never had a 147. Highest break in tournament play, 140.
96. $97.
Well, now we can certainly say not only has he got the first win of this season's Championship League, sorry, this week's group of the Championship League, rather. He's also got the first century. It wouldn't be the first 147 we've seen in this tournament this year. Martin Gould had one against Li Hang in the last group.
$112.
Now this is a test. He knows what he can do here, what a chance he's got. But he played that as if there was no pressure on it whatsoever. Now, the next couple of shots could decide it all. Well, this is awkward.
120.
But real chance now.
122.
Sean Murphy, Barry Hawkins, Dave Gilbert, Fergal O'Brien, Mark Davis twice last year, and Martin Gould in the last group are the Championship League maximum men.
129.
But they might just have some company now. And the body language suggests he's left himself not where he wanted to be. But what a shot this is. Has he played it too well? Oh, how about this for your first 147? Black into the middle then for the maximum. Is it there? He's done it. What a fantastic display of nerve from Luca Brecel. There were a lot of difficult shots in there. He had a fluke along the way which helped him.